Hello and welcome to another episode of Discourse featuring your boy DJ Tomiwa. This is the series where we discuss all things DJing and music. So today we're going to be talking about my 80s mix, my most popular mix on YouTube. I'm currently sitting at about 1.5 million plays. And yeah, I'm going to give you guys some of the details behind it, some of my thoughts when I was making it, how I came to make it despite being born in 1991. And yeah, any other thoughts going forward, any regrets or anything I might do in the future. But yeah, before I begin, I do want to emphasize I'm so thankful and so grateful for everybody that's listened to this mix. The support and the feedback I've got from the mix has been overwhelming, to be honest. To every single person who's listened to the mix, to every single person who's liked the video, shared it with somebody, all of your comments, I read literally every single one. There's over 500 comments at the moment, and I'm so grateful. I really appreciate all the love and support. So the first question, why did I actually put together this mix? This mix was a way of me giving homage to my aunties and uncles. I've been really blessed growing up that I've had not just my parents, who I'm extremely grateful for, but I've also had a lot of other mother figures, father figures in my life. And if you've watched my DJ origin video, you know that from the beginning it was all about DJing firstly for family and friends, and this mix was a way for me personally to give back to those family and friends who have blessed me and made me into the person that I am today. So how did a 90s baby put together one of the most popular 80s mixes on YouTube? So for those who don't know, I was born in 1991. I was 25 at the time of recording the mix, so obviously I wasn't born when most of these songs were released. Absolutely, without doubt, the number one factor that was most critical for me making this mix was the fact that my dad was a DJ previously. Okay, my dad actually was quite a big DJ back in the day. I know he was in like big London clubs and stuff like that. He was in his youth in the 1980s, and therefore that's a special era, not just for him but his age mates as well, who are my aunties and uncles. And as a result of this, even though I didn't grow up wanting to be a DJ when I was younger, I've just been exposed to this music and I've been absorbing it all the years of my youth, and as a result I've developed a passion for it, which comes out in this mix. I also ripped a lot of the songs from this actual mix from my dad's old CDs, and I've watched them in action as well, which has let me know some of the most popular songs that people like to listen to. And I also want to give a shout out to my in-laws as well. My wife's parents, definitely a big influence. I remember preparing for my wife's mum's 50th and sitting down and talking to them about these 80s songs, and they're a really big fan of them. They both love the mix as well, and definitely they've given me a lot of inspiration. And also many others of my aunties and uncles, my auntie Tone, my uncle B, because these are people that I've actually sat down and kind of quizzed them on the type of 80s music that they like, and that's really helped me to establish in this big genre, this big decade of so many songs, which songs are the most optimal for my mix. So going on to the mix itself, what was my aim when I made the mix? It was designed to be obviously a party mix that was comprised of songs strictly from the 80s. Yes, technically there's a couple of songs which I think were released in the very late 70s, but obviously they would have come to popularity in the 80s anyway. So it was designed to rock a party. Some mixes are made for, just relaxing and chilling, background listening. Some mixes actually made to party too, if as a DJ you can't be there. And this was a mix that was designed to do that. As a result, you'll notice that the mix itself, the journey that the mix goes on, is like a party. It starts kind of slow and groovy, builds up a bit, gets into like a very solid dancing stage, increases in tempo and energy and BPM until near the end, where the tempo comes down and you kind of get that end of the night vibe. So in order to keep a party rolling, you need to make sure the bangers keep coming, and you need to make sure the mixes are quite short. So that's why you'll find that some songs don't play for quite so long. And I know this might be probably a little bit uncomfortable with some viewers, because especially if you were in that era, I'm sure the DJs didn't mix as quickly as I did on this mix, but I really wanted to give them something different. And that was another thing as well. I did want to keep my own special 90s identity on it. I didn't want to do exactly what the DJs at the time would have done. I wanted to kind of be a bit innovative as well. So another thing you'll notice in the mix is time skips, when I kind of skip through a song to give it the illusion that it's been playing for a longer time. That enables me to play more songs in a short amount of time. Obviously I want to keep the mix under 80 minutes so that it can fit on a CD as well, because I know that a lot of this generation like to listen to mixes on CDs. Being a party mix, obviously it means you need to come with the bangers. The biggest bangers possible is actually what I wanted to do with this mix. I wanted it to be like a one shot definitive 80s mix. I didn't want to do a part 2 when I set out to do it. I wasn't trying to hold back at all. I was just looking for the most popular songs by the most popular artists and trying to optimize those mixes to be as smooth and as energetic and fun as possible. As you can imagine, with the 80s decade being obviously like 10 years of music, so many artists, so many songs, and it was definitely an amazing era for music in general. So song selection was extremely difficult. I can't emphasize it enough. I probably researched this mix for about a year before I actually came to recording it. So going on to recording, I actually recorded it in 3 sections. For the intro, you'll notice that I used a couple of samples on there. Those samples were actually influenced by my love for hip hop, which is why you get a little bit of scratching as well. The sample, I want to go way back, like back in the day. That one actually comes from a song called Back in the Day by Farside, which actually samples a song by Teddy Pendergrass, which is an 80s song. But you can see how that 80s song has influenced a hip hop song, which I really like. And obviously the In the Mix part comes from the song In Deep, Last Night the DJ Saved My Life, which is one of the songs that I really wanted to put in the mix but just wasn't optimal for mixing. And that song is sampled by Jurassic 5, In the House, which is another hip hop band that I really love. So I'm sure you're starting to understand here how my 90s hip hop love came out in this 80s mix as well. So just briefly speaking about the beginning, I always like to start my mixes with very quick mixes to let the audience know straight away that, you know, we're getting into it. I don't like to play the first few songs too long. Though I do want to mention actually quickly, my absolute favorite song on the mix is Curious by Midnight Star. I don't know what it is about that song, it just gets me every single time. I love so many songs in this mix, but that is my absolute #1 song. But yeah, I really want to start with like a kind of bassy, kind of chilled vibe with songs like Curious, Love Zone, Don't Look Any Further. I will say though, the first 5 minutes or so is probably my least favorite part of the mix. One big regret I have is that the first mix wasn't really as good as it should have been. Having said that, I don't know why I didn't use Rising to the Top by Kenny Burke. Like, I'm sure that song would have fit perfectly in between those 2 songs, and it's such a banger. And it's also sampled by LL Cool J later on, obviously on his song Paradise. So again, I don't know why I didn't put that song in. But hey, it is what it is. And then the tempo picks up a bit with songs that you can kind of step to, like Who Do You Love, Bernard Wright, and Chaka Khan, Ain't Nobody. But yeah, there's also some other hip hop homages here that you might not realize. So those 2 songs, Who Do You Love and Ain't Nobody, are actually both sampled by LL Cool J. I think it's his song Loungin' and also Ain't Nobody. And LL Cool J was one of my favorite rappers back in the day. In fact, I think Mama Said Knock You Out was one of the first raps I learned. So that was actually a bit of a homage to him. Later on, as the mix continues to pick up tempo as well, you'll notice that I mixed Forget Me Nots and The Beat Goes On. And these songs are both sampled by Will Smith on his songs Men in Black and Miami. And Will Smith again was one of my favorite rappers when I was a kid. If you were wondering how much thought I put into the track list, every single song is positioned for optimal mixes, but also to tell a bit of a story in itself, and this reflects my personality as well. But yeah, as the mix progresses, we get into this kind of funk stage. It's actually the quick mix between Love Come Down and Upside Down by Diana Ross, where I changed between the first part of the mix and the second part of the mix. And the reason why I had to break up these 2 sections was because of this funk section. It was so hard to record, I can't explain it honestly. I probably had to record it about 50 times. So if you're not an 80s DJ, you probably won't know this. But back in those days, when they recorded songs, they didn't always have a computer to create the drum pattern. And as a result, there'll be a drummer manually doing the drum pattern. And as obviously they're human, it means that the beat pattern can actually increase in tempo and decrease in tempo over time. So the track as a whole doesn't have a perfect beat pattern. What this means is, as a DJ, your job becomes a lot harder. Then that means that as the beat goes on, no pun intended, you're having to adjust the tracks on the fly. And that can mean things go extremely badly. It means that you can get some beats which just sound completely off. And when you're recording mixes like this, which are going to be heard by, like you've seen, it's been heard by millions of people, you need to make sure that mix is perfect, or as close to perfect as can be. So as a result of the difficulty of these mixes, I had to do them probably upwards of 50 times to get them right. Particularly the mix from Give Me the Night by George Benson into We've Got the Funk by Positive Force. Because it's such a long mix, it was very difficult to do, because if you get the timing slightly wrong, it does show up and it's very clear. Moving on from here, these are some of my favorite songs on the mix. I'm talking about Treat Her Like a Lady, Midas Touch, Roses Are Red, which is a particularly popular classic with us 90s kids. These are songs that I've grown up watching my parents dance to, and it was an honour to be able to make this mix and put these songs on. And you can tell from the artist that really I was trying to get all of the best artists on this mix. For example, Kool & the Gang, that's actually my wife's favourite 80s band. Her and her dad in particular really love Kool & the Gang. And you'll notice that I used the remix of Fresh. This is because my wife's dad in particular really loves this song, and actually I agree, I think the remix is actually better than the original. It's actually amazing. Another slight regret I have about the mix was maybe putting songs like Good Times by Cheap and a couple of others in this higher tempo section. I had to basically speed up these songs a lot to make them match the energy, the party energy that was being alluded at this time. I remember my dad saying to me like, oh, you sped up those songs a lot and it don't sound really recognizable for us that were, you know, listening to the music at the time. But you know, the mix isn't perfect. It's just some of my small regrets. But I still don't know where I'll put those songs because I didn't really want them in the funk section. But maybe if I was a better DJ, I would have known some sort of special trick to be able to play those songs at a more natural BPM for those songs while still keeping them in the same section. But yeah, after you get songs like I Want to Dance With Somebody, that tells you, isn't it, that the party's over, grab your partner, it's time to start getting ready to go home. Which is why I finished with songs like A Night to Remember, Rock With You by Michael Jackson, and Love Times Love by George Benson. And it leaves you with kind of a feeling of you're leaving the party on a good vibe. So yeah, that's the mix, guys. It was really tough to make, but I really enjoyed it because the songs are so good. The passion definitely kind of drove me to make the mix as good as it is. And yeah, it's not perfect and I do have some regrets with it, but I'm really happy with how it came out. Did I know the mix would do so well? In all honesty, I was pretty confident when I was putting the mix together. Like when I'm putting the mix together, usually I would ask people for their thoughts and to give feedback before I do the final version, and the feedback I was getting was really good. I obviously did a lot of research, listened to other mixes as well, and I felt my mix was as good as a lot of mixes on YouTube, if not better. And I hope that doesn't sound arrogant, but in this life you do have to be confident. I'm not arrogant, confident. And I've explained, if you've listened to my previous video talking about my DJing origin, why I'm so confident in my ability. Will I do a part 2 of the mix? A lot of people, of course, have asked me when is the next part coming out. A lot of people have hit me up to say, can you do a personalized mix for me? Can you do an extended version for me? In all honesty, guys, I'm not sure if I'm going to do another version. It's quite difficult to say right now. When I made the mix, there were some songs, actually there was a lot of songs that I missed out on it, which I thought, okay, I'll put these in a part 2. But when I look at those songs, they don't fit together anywhere near as well as the first part did. The first part had a very consistent story and journey, whereas if I was to put another part together, it just wouldn't be as good. And I don't want to like sully the first one by putting out a bad part 2. For me, if I'm doing a part 2, it has to be better than the original, or at least as good. And like I said, the first part was actually really tough to make, and I don't know how much I can stress myself to do a part 2 like that again. But do you guys want a part 2? If you do, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to know your thoughts. Also, I probably will do another video going through the comments and some of my favorite comments on the 80s mix, because honestly some of your comments have been like really outstanding. They've really kind of got to me and I think you'll find it interesting. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to see that as well. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you found this breakdown interesting. Let me know in the comments if you found any particular points like very surprising. I'll be happy to answer your questions if you have any more questions about the mix, and let me know if you'd like me to do a breakdown of any of my other mixes as well. If you haven't heard the mix already, I don't know why you're even listening to this video. You need to go and check out that mix. But yeah, I have a lot more mixes on my SoundCloud in particular. YouTube blocks a lot of my mixes, but most of them are on SoundCloud, so go and check that out as well if you want to hear more. But yeah, until next time, guys, thanks and stay blessed.